Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be talking about another, I wouldn't say winter forecast, but just what I'm thinking. I just got a few new updates and I did want to share them with y'all. I have some very interesting stuff to show y'all. I have stuff in here that y'all have already saw, and I have a lot of new stuff that y'all haven't saw. So leave a like down below and subscribe if you do enjoy today's video. If you want to, and to help my channel out, that's what you could do. Also, if you want to watch throughout the whole video to get the most information, there's a lot of information in today's video, and let's go ahead and get into it. And also, soon, in a few days, I will be doing a winter forecast on a map. This is just like showing you what I think. So this is kind of a precursor. So maybe tomorrow or 2 days from now, I'll be putting this on a map and showing y'all that. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. But let's go ahead and get into today's video. So right here is what I've been researching for probably the past 2 hours. So over the past 2 hours, I just looked over like the past 100 years, as you can see, from the 1950 to 2018. So not even close to 100 years, but I've been looking over the past a lot of years. Let's just say that I've been looking over a lot of years. So I did, and I pretty much looked at all of the years, and the ones that stuck out to me most were 1993 and 1994, and 2013 and 2014. So these were 2 years that really stuck out and looked a lot like this year. And one thing I did look for was where we did see an El Nino, maybe a year or maybe 2 years before, or maybe just it looks a lot like it, or maybe somewhere near an El Nino. Since we are just leaving an El Nino, I wanted to be near an El Nino just because that's what we've been seeing. So as you can see, in the 2013-14, the year after it was an El Nino, weak El Nino, just like we had a weak El Nino this year before. So maybe that's about right. And then we had an El Nino 2 years before 1993 and 94, and then a year after into 1994 and 1995. So these were two years that really stuck out to me and look a lot like what we could be seeing and what we haven't been expecting. So we're gonna go ahead and get into showing y'all some of the maps and stuff like that from National Weather Service. Here you can see this is what we've really been looking at lately. So this is January to March in 2014. So this is a year that we've been looking at for a while, and what we've been expecting is to get some kind of jet stream to dip around like this, okay? So something like that. I could even see it dipping down in here like that kind of feature. And it will a lot of times dip down into the deep south we are expecting. So we will most likely, our regular one jet stream will be around here, but a lot of times we will get it dip down into parts of the south. So you can see we have the core of the cold where we'll be seeing that jet stream pretty dipping down to there all winter. We'll have a lot of polar blasts across a lot of the Great Lakes regions, also in like around here into the interior northern plains. You can see that. And across the west we have warmer temperatures, which we have been expecting. So that's what we're seeing there. So that's looking a lot like this year. And of course, southern Florida, you're like 1 degree above average, just pretty usual. I would just say that's average, but whatever. So that's what we're seeing there. So you can see a lot of below average temperatures across the central United States, the eastern United States, and the northern plains. Just like we've been expecting. Now we go to the precipitation. So this is where my confidence kind of goes down for 2014. So this is what we're still trying to work out and find a better year. We still really haven't found a good precipitation year, or we really don't know what it'll be like precipitation-wise that great this year, but this is one of our options. The thing that I really looked at was for the southwest, the below average, and we did find that. But you can see right here we had above average across the northwest. So we are going to have to see. I'm not too sure about that, but I do expect us to see above average across here. So that's something I do see that I'm sure about. And these above average across the northeast I was expecting. I was thinking maybe some dry air across these areas down to the south, like right here. But what I'm thinking is we will see a little bit of a wetter pattern around here. And I'll get into that in a little bit. So I don't agree with this that way, because usually when we see a neutral pattern, that's where we see our wetter conditions. So I did try to find a better year, at least for precipitation. Now, as temperatures for 2014 were pretty right, so I did stick with 2014 for the temperatures, but precipitation-wise, I moved on to 1994. This was a really good year, as I was talking about earlier, for what this year's looking like. So you can see we had a lot of that above average precipitation right here, and we also did have it moving up into parts of course, the East Coast, as we were seeing. Some below average right here, which I was actually thinking. Some meteorologists, and including me, think we might see a little bit of dry air at times in parts of the Ohio Valley, but not too dry to be too worried about. Really, where I'm worried about it being too dry would be across a lot of the West, as you can see right here. That's what I am a little worried about, just because we finally got out of a drought in a lot of those areas. Some of them we still weren't out of last year, and then now we're starting to fall into another drought. So that's something that we are having right now to start, and we can see it right there. Monsoon season was not good enough for a lot of the Southwest. But across the East Coast, we saw above average a lot, and this is where we could be seeing a lot of our above average precipitation. And the reason behind this is, you can see this is where a lot of these tropical systems could end up going. Also, you got to think of nor'easters most of the time. Tropical systems aren't that likely January through March, but sometimes we did get one, but it's not looking like that. But if we were to extend this into fall, because this is what this fall will most likely look like too, it could include tropical outlooks, but this is just winter. But most likely up through here, the reason this is we're seeing so much of it being wet would definitely be because of nor'easters coming through. And as you can see right here, this is the reason behind this. So this is an INSO neutral winter pattern. I'm sure you saw this a lot of times if you've been watching my channel. You can see how we get this jet stream to dip down to where I was talking about. And I do think sometimes we will get it to come down to here, as I was saying. But you can see how we had the subtropical jet stream somewhere around here. And then most of the time we'll have the polar jet stream here. So as we go in between, we have those wetter conditions. It's just really unstable in between. And that's where we could see our winter battle zone. That'd be like your wintry mix, the ice and everything. And then sometimes if you get that cold air to come down, you could get some really big snowstorms because we have a really warm Gulf. So if we ever got the jet stream to come down, we could get some really good nor'easters to come up this area. So that's why I'm thinking across a lot of those areas we could have those wetter conditions. And that's why I don't agree with the 2014 precipitation outlook, at least for what we could see this year. So 1994 is a really good season for what I'm thinking for precipitation wise. Now as I move once again across the upper Midwest, I do think we could see around normal. Right here you can see, I think we will see around normal, but as you can see in some of these areas, there's below average. So I think in some areas across parts of the Midwest we could see below average, but a lot of areas it'll be pretty normal. And then across a lot of the East, I'm thinking we would be pretty above average when it comes to precipitation because of what I just showed you. We'll just have the polar jet stream and the subtropical jet stream around the same area, and in between we have the most above average. And then whenever the jet stream dips down, the polar jet stream, we get a lot of that warm Gulf water, and we get nor'easters to come up the coast, as I was just saying. So it's pretty interesting, and that's what we could be seeing. So the years I'm basing it off for temperatures, I just texted out. Let me bring it back. Okay. Temperatures would be 2014, and as we moved into precipitation, that would be 1994. So 2 separate years that I think could really blend together really well for this season. So that's what we're seeing there. So I did go back really far to find us some good information. Okay, here's one last thing, as this will involve our 2014 season, but you can see right now we do have these, as you can see right here, we have a feature where there's a lot of warm air below south of Alaska and south, like around Greenland. So usually when we do see this, we will see a lot of the warm air from here move into the western states, and then usually we'll see a lot of this warm air. It could tip the very top of Maine, as I was talking about, but really I don't, in one of my previous videos, but really I don't think it's going to affect Maine that badly. But that's why the Northeast could be a little normal in some areas just because of that. That could get a little too west, but right now it's looking like you'll be pretty below average, around normal. But that's why in the middle we are seeing that, because really in the middle you'll just have a lot of the cold air to be able to come down from parts of Canada, and right there we'll be getting a lot of cold blasts in this area. So this is where we could be getting a lot of cold blasts, just because this ridge right here will be blocking a lot of the cold air from coming in. So in here you'll have a lot of hot air, and around here maybe we could have a little bit of that warmer air blocking the cooler air. So somewhere in here we could be seeing cooler temperatures this winter, just because that cold air will be wedged in, like in some kind of trough. So that cold air will be wedged across a lot of the United States, but if you move to the western United States, will be warmer because of that warm blob south of Alaska, and maybe the very northeastern tip of the United States, maybe just be normal temperatures, just because it may get a little bit too west with those warmer temperatures, but I don't think they will be too significantly warm. Okay, we're going to look at one more thing. This is January 2014, as I was basing my forecast off earlier, 2014. This is very interesting. So you can see right here, and once again, this is for the temperatures. You can see right here, we have what I was talking about. You can see, as I was talking about, that south of Alaska, we have that really warm pattern. And then right here, we have a lot of that warm patterns near Greenland. And one thing that really caught my eye, you can see right here in the blue right here, right there. Look at Greenland right here. So you can see around Greenland right here, if this will stop acting up, you can see where we see this cooler temperatures right there. If you look right here on 2014, there they are. They're going to be right there. So this is a very good indication of what this year's looking like. But right here you can see that warmer air around Greenland and south of Alaska. And you can see how I was talking about how that warm air really wedged in across the west. And then we got some of those normal temperatures to come into the tip of the northeast. And then in between, we have those cooler blasts. So that's exactly what I was saying for these areas. So this is where we'll see the majority of our cold this winter. Across a lot of the Great Lakes region and to a lot of the East Coast, especially as we move into parts of the Tennessee and Ohio Valley, we will be seeing a lot of cold and below average temperatures. But yeah, guys, I hope y'all did enjoy this video. I put a lot of information in here. I'm very excited for this winter. I'm getting more and more excited by the day. It's looking very interesting. A lot of cold temperatures could be coming. A lot of cold blasts could be coming across a lot of the eastern United States. And then the west, you could be really warm and dry. So this is the feature I was talking about with the ocean temperatures, just like this year, 2014. So we will have to see how that does play out. I will do a video with a map. If I did not mention that, I'm pretty sure I did. But yeah, guys, I hope y'all did enjoy this video. If you did, consider leaving a like down below and subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.